Welcome to the Keeping It Real Conversation Show with your host, Camila, aka Sunshine. We are live, and this is Tuesday, October 18th, 2022. Of course, we always say we are live on Facebook, we are live on Twitter, Twitch, the YouTube channel, which is the same name of the show. It is live on the radio on grooveradiodetroit.com. And of course, our main thing is we believe in 6 degrees of separation. You are literally one person away, one advice away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. It has been proven over and over again since we started the show. Again, I always say that I am biased when it comes to my guests. I think every last one of my guests is dope in their own special way. So tonight, like no other, I have a special guest tonight who has been waiting for a minute to come in and have a conversation with us tonight. We're gonna start with his bio. Then I'm gonna let you know how I got connected with him, and then we're gonna get into this wonderful conversation. So tonight, I said that this man right here is leadership is what he has mastered. Leadership is what he has mastered. So Darnnelle Gibbs Sr. has served in a leadership capacity his entire adult life. He is a dedicated leader, a seasoned negotiator, and an admired philanthropist. Darnnelle Gibbs Sr. is a military combat veteran and CEO of Pure Natural Vibes LLC. He served in the U.S. Army from 2008 to 2014 and proudly uses his military knowledge and his experience from his deployment to Afghanistan in 2013 to guide and educate his peers. Darnnelle continues to serve in the military with the United States Air Force Security Forces Squadron as a training instructor alongside fulfilling his civil duties as a is it Exis
Yeah, Access.
County Sheriff's Officer since 2015. Since 2015, Darnnelle has pledged his time to become a mentor and a deputy director of Exis County Cops for Kids, a nonprofit organization for at-risk youth. He has made his commitment a top priority in his life. He uses vacation and personal time to escort the children from the organization to educational field trips, sporting events, and training exercises. Darnnelle has been featured in articles with New York Weekly, Los Angeles Wire, and CEO Weekly for his ability to run a successful business and for donating over $50,000 in PPE to first responders, daycares, and other nonprofit organizations through Essex County, New Jersey during the pandemic. Prior to starting a career in the military and law enforcement from 2004 to 2008, Darnnelle worked in sales, earning two Salesman of the Year awards for 2 consecutive years while working at what was it?
McCarty.
There you go. For in
Watch on.
Watchok,
Watch
New
on.
Jersey.
Yep.
He also completed business and finance classes at Essex County College. So tonight, I want you guys to welcome this extraordinary leader in Darnnelle Gibbs Sr.
Thanks. Glad to be here. Glad to be invited.
I am beyond excited um, for this conversation. I get excited to um, put people on the map that most people have never heard of before. I like the fact that when I look at certain people and when I get into a place of learning another individual, I ask the behind questions that most people will not ask. I'm for the totality of you and not what I know you for.
Okay.
So, with all that being said, let's go back to the beginning. One thing
Okay.
that I saw the first sentence where it says that you have been in leadership your whole in adult life,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So let's go before you was an adult.
Okay.
Who were you back then?
Before I was adult, before I was Big Darnell. So
Uh-huh.
so I went to elementary school in Newark, New Jersey. I went to quite a few of them actually. So I went from Hawthorne Avenue Elementary School, George Washington Carver. We call it Little Maple Annex. Then I ended up going to Irvington Elementary School, Myrtle Middle School. Ended up going to Irvington High School. I didn't graduate Irvington High School. Ended up dropping out actually my senior year. Thought I was a lot more important. Thought I had everything situated. Had my first son. I just thought I knew everything. So uh, I ended up dropping out. Spent some time in California, Burbank, California, with my cousin Josh. Talked to him for a little bit. Figured out what I wanted to do in life. Then I moved back to New Jersey. So at this point, I'm an adult. I moved back to New Jersey. I was fortunate enough to get the job at Lacardi Ford, even though I had no high school diploma. I had no past sales experience or anything like that. They took a chance on me, and I excelled at Lacardi Ford. I went from just being the average salesman to being a top two salesman at the dealership. Me and a gentleman by Rich Domoski. He's now the general manager at Acura dealership. I believe it's Springfield Acura, if I'm not mistaken. Apologize if I'm wrong. So if he's watching this, I apologize about that big guy. But yeah, so we competed back and forth while I was at Ford. And then I had my second son, Kamari Gibbs. Um, Gas prices went from like $1 to $4, and then people stopped buying cars.
Right.
Once people stopped buying cars, I had to figure out how I was going to make a living, support my kids. Then at that time, I started seeing a lot of commercials for the military in general. I was like, you know what, this might be an avenue to go. Seeing that they had so many different benefits, from anything from free education, they had sign-on bonus, career path training that you could receive to do something else later on in the civilian world. I thought that was very advantageous for me to look into. The person who actually got me into that was my ex-girlfriend, Jennifer. Her brother was my recruiter. So I didn't have to worry about like if I was being lied to, if I was being manipulated to pick one career field over another. He was honest with me about the career field that I ended up ultimately selecting, which was United States Army Military Police. I was also fortunate that her sister, Tasima Lane, was also in the military. She was in the Army as well. Her older brother, was also in the military. So she had quite a few siblings that were in the military that I had the option to actually asking questions to and getting honest opinions rather than someone just telling me what I wanted to hear, just to get me to join. Um, After that, I joined. I was in the Army 6 years, 2008, 2014. I had the benefit of deploying to Afghanistan with an exceptional group of people. We deployed to Afghanistan, was there for a year. At that time, there was a lot going on, a lot of conflict where you had Afghan personnel turning on soldiers. So we did this project, not necessarily project, but more so the mission tempo was geared for police mentoring. So at that point, using police mentoring, we took Army personnel, we paired them up with Afghan counterparts for the purpose of tracking down sympathizers, terrorist sympathizers, that is, uh, figuring out how we can help them, and then in return, they can help us with information. So went from anywhere from building fire station, police station, formal education, a well. Believe it or not, that was a very popular thing in Afghanistan, was a well, because a lot of the sources of water, they would have to travel, 5, 6, 7 miles just to get to a source of water, just to travel back again 5, 6 miles to get it back to the village. So that was a popular thing during that time. I came back from Afghan. Then I enrolled in Essex County College because, like I said, the military was giving out free education. So I said I'll take advantage of that. Decided to enroll in Essex County College. I took business classes while I was at Essex County College. At the same time, I took the civil service exam. I was fortunate to get picked up by the Essex County Sheriff. Actually, I got picked up by Essex County Department of Corrections first, and then the process. I was there about a little over a year, and then my name came up on the list for the Essex County Sheriff Office. So then I switched for a better schedule. So the schedule was a lot better, more family oriented for a schedule for a family individual. Supposed to the job, I don't know. I definitely met good friends at the jail while I worked there. A lot of officers I'm still in contact with. They've all promoted now, sergeants, lieutenants throughout the Essex County Sheriff Office. Um, After I say want to say about a year, maybe 2 years at the sheriff office, then I sort of enjoyed the military lifestyle. I liked it. It's like, you know what, I think I'm gonna have to get back in, so I decided to get back in. Instead of joining the army, re-enlisting into the army, I decided to re-enlist into the Air Force. So instead of picking like a new career field, I stuck with a career field I was familiar with, which was security forces, which is the Air Force version of military law enforcement. I joined that. I excelled at that. I was nominated for Airman of the Quarter. I won. I was also nominated for Airman of the Year. I didn't win that one. Then I deployed to Kuwait twice. So my most recent deployment I just came back from this year, actually. I deployed. I had the opportunity to do FAST, which is like flyway security. So, you flew on a military aircraft to a hostile area to ensure the safety of the crew and passengers aboard the aircraft. So that took me all over the world. Been all over to Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, quite a few places. I just can't think about them all off the top of my head. Apologize about that. Africa multiple times. I've been there as well. Syria, I think I said that. Yemen. I've been all over actually for this past deployment. Um, so when it comes to like the whole leadership aspect, I want to say the bulk of my leadership aspect actually came from the military. So I had like some great NCOs while I was in the army. I always I die hard tell everybody over and over the best NCOs that I had while I was in the army. I always call them out by name. So we're gonna have Sergeant Christopher Richardson, Anthony Evans, Sergeant Thomas Jones. Um, let's see who else. Sergeant Menuza, Sergeant Magunin, Sergeant Young. I had like stellar NCOs that helped me in the military. Well, like I said, my army aspect of my military career. And when I tell you like excellent group of people, they literally wanted me to succeed as much as they succeeded, and it made the path for me to succeed a lot easier. So you had an NCO when I was just a private. You had an NCO telling me, "Hey, you should do this course. You should do this course. You should do this course to make you better overall." And to help you stand out from your peers and everything like that. So normally you hear stuff like that, you think like, "Oh, he's just trying to brush me off. He don't want to help me." But it was actually the complete opposite. I would complete a course. I'll come back. They'll ask me about the course, and they're like, "Hey, you should check this one out because this one does this one does that." So I listen. I excelled in the army while I was there, and then I had the same opportunity to run across some great NCOs while I'm still here currently in the Air Force. The great NCOs I came across, we have recently promoted. The four of us just recently got promoted. I got promoted to tech sergeant. The three individuals that I'm about to name, they just recently got promoted to master sergeant. So we have Stephanie Blango. She helped me out a lot during this past deployment. So she made sure literally that I got all my PME done. So like when we had downtime and everything like that, she was like, "Hey, go, let's knock out some PME." So PME is pretty much your professional development within the Air Force. So they're big on that PME. Then we had leadership from Master Sergeant Lee, Dwayne Lee. He helped me out a lot. Different aspects of customs and courtesy. There's a big difference in between customs and courtesies for the Air Force compared to the Army. Mannerisms and things of such. Then we had Master Sergeant Crawford. Master Sergeant Crawford had me in the way as if it wasn't for him, I would never been able to get into the training division within the Air Force. So he knew I had a lot of experience coming over from the Army. he would literally test my experience, and he'll ask me a question like, okay, so if this happened, what would you do? I'll answer it. Oh, so while you was there, what do you do? I'll show him different aspects of my Army career where it's not necessarily the same for the Air Force, but at the same time, he wanted to incorporate it. So this way, the Air Force personnel that was assigned to our unit would be a little bit more tactical proficient. So he was able to get me into the training division, which excuse me, which I appreciate a lot. Then we had I have Master Sergeant Brewer, Ada Brewer. She's like the mother figure at the unit, so to speak. You know, so like if you mess up, she'll let you know. She don't have a problem let you know, like, hey man, you messed up, you gotta fix this. But even from when I first got to the unit, like I said, I didn't know too much about the Air Force other than the material that I read online, just like everybody else could read online. So I didn't know firsthand what the Air Force was like. But I remember from when I first got in, literally she laid out everything that I needed to do. It was like, you know, do A, B, C, and D. And I'm like, oh, that's it. She was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, that can't be too hard. So I'll knock out A, B, C, and D. And then she's like, oh, you done with that? Yeah. Okay, well, do this too. She also, you know, told me to make sure that I stayed actively engaged rather than just let time pass and
Mhm.
not get nothing out of it. So I appreciate all the help that she's given me to this point, and I know for a fact that she'll continue to help me in the future, just like the other three individuals I named as well. Also, got to give a shout out to my recruiter for the Air Force, Master on Beelan. You know, he helped me out, steer me in the right direction because I was thinking about other career fields, and he was like, "Hey, man, with all the experience that you got, like." You might be better off, sticking with military law enforcement. So I was like, you know, let's see what happens. Let's try it. Let's go ahead. Let's try it. And but yeah, so far, like I said, I got a lot of great military NCOs that I owe a lot to this day, and I keep in contact with a lot of them still to this day. So Christopher Richardson, he works with me at the Essex County Sheriff Office. Um, Sergeant Evans, he works at the Battle Lab at the base that I'm currently at, so I always keep in contact with him. Also, if I got to shout out Sergeant First Class Terrence Bryant, he also helped me out a lot when I was in the Army. So he was a big dude. I was small. He was like, "Hey man, you got to eat, man. You're a little guy, man. You got to eat. What I mean, you can't be out here, carrying all this gear. And you're so small." So like, he used to always tickle me and everything like that. But he helped me out a lot too. I still keep in contact with him. Just recently talked to him this past week and actually try to set up some training for a group of my guys in the Air Force to try to train some Army tactics, later on in the future, it is, provided the schedules work and everything like that. But yeah, so like that's how my leadership abilities all started. From there, then I came across I was consider my mentor at the Essex County Sheriff Office. Two individuals that I'm gonna shout out. The first person I'm gonna shout out is Sergeant Gregory Johnson. He was a mentor for me when I first got to the sheriff office. He pretty much told me everything I needed to do in reference to like actually knowing the job. You get a lot of people get on a job. You come across different superior. They'll just put you to work. Like, hey, you're gonna be over here today. Hey, you're gonna be over here today, or you're gonna be over here today. Not really necessarily get to know you as an individual to see what motivates you. So once Sergeant Johnson realized what motivated me as far as like learning, he made sure I was in a position to learn everything I needed to learn, anything from um, doing incident reports, assault reports, harassment reports, crash reports, and like he just literally helped me excel at the Essex County Sheriff Office. And then I came across a gentleman named Armando Aviles. Armando Aviles, in my opinion, by far is the best community activists that I've ever came across. And I came across quite a few community activists. And when I tell you that he sets the bar when it comes to being a person for the community, he sets the bar. So we're talking about a gentleman who recruited officers such as myself to join Essex County Cops for Kids. And to be able to tell someone like, hey, I need help with a youth program, and you got to volunteer your own time. I'll be honest with you. Our youth program is 100% nonprofit. Not one member of our staff is paid or financially compensated in any way. Once again, we use our own personal time to get the kids from one, point A to point B. We use our own, financial resources to get the kids from the high school to baseball game, football game, basketball game. We do use different connections to actually get tickets donated to the youth organization. For instance, right now we have the youth that's actually at the Yankees playoff game. Officer Vilas is the one who took him. And then you're talking about an officer who retired just about 2 years ago, who is still devoting his time to help the youth. You get
Right.
most officers, we're not going to say officers, we get most individuals, okay, who retire and just want to sit back,
Sit back.
lay back, relax, drink a beer, have a cigar, which is understandable. But this man chooses to continue to help the youth on a full time basis. So this man has my utmost respect forever. So once he, reached out to me and said, "Hey, you want to be part of this program?" I start off just like every other volunteer officer. Okay, great, no problem. I'll help out. How often I got to come? He was like, "You only got to come once a month." I'm like, it's easy, once a month, right? So I started coming to the program. I'm like, wow, you know what? This program is pretty neat. I'm liking this thing. So it went from me just showing up once a month to me showing up every week, and then as time went along, I got more and more involved, more and more involved, more and more involved into the program where we start setting up training lessons for the youth, start teaching them the same principles that's taught at the police academy by the New Jersey Police Training Commission. So literally adopted that same exact program, brought it back to the youth and taught the youth. All right. So I excelled with his guidance in teaching the youth to the point where I excelled through the program to actually ultimately be, like I said, right now the deputy director of the program. We started off this program with 24 kids, and right now we have 150 plus kids. We have the largest nonprofit youth organization ran by our active members of law enforcement. And then I get people that over and over they're like, "Oh man, I seen your kids at the parade. I seen your kids at this basketball game. I seen these kids at this hockey game. You think you could start the program in my town?" So, and I always say like, "Yeah, we can start a program anywhere. You just need 3 officers." They're like, "Oh, that's easy." And then I tell them like, "Yeah, these 3 officers are unpaid." And they're like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm like, "What do you mean you don't know? You just said
Right.
you wanted a program. You said my program's so great. You want it in your town. What are we gonna do?" But like I said, it's just so hard to find people to volunteer their time, especially for free. Time is very valuable. Time is very precious, and like I said, I love the program. I feel like if the program existed, or something similar to this existed,
Right.
while I was younger, maybe I wouldn't have dropped out of high school. It's a possibility I probably would have stayed in high school and graduated from Irvington High School. Um, we have youth from as young as 6 years old all the way up to seniors in high school. Then they also have opportunity once they graduate high school to come back to be um, assistant advisors with
Assistant.
a
Yeah.
point where they can actually give back to the program. So we have it. We have quite a few youth who graduated through our program who actually went off into being cops throughout Essex County and as a whole. Yeah, like I said, like big shout outs to Essex County Cops for Kids. We do a lot with a little. A lot of people are surprised that we do so much and that we're so many places. But yeah, the program's great. I love the program. Also, Fearless. Once again, Armando Vilas, retired Essex County Sheriff Officer who continues to give 110% and without asking for anything back, without receiving anything back. Like I always try to give this man as much praise as I possibly can because the level of work that he does is amazing. And like I said, he's my mentor from Essex County Sheriff Office. Um, then I got into entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship. Let's see if I had to give a shout out. Let me see who I give a shout out to entrepreneurship. I say myself actually. I didn't really have like I didn't have any friends that like own businesses or anything like that. So like when I started my first business, Pure Natural Vibes, it started back in my deployment. So my deployment, unfortunately, I ended up injuring myself in my deployment. So there was a time frame in the military where you you had an injury, they was giving out Percocets like they were Skittles. You know, you had a lot of service members getting hooked. All you seen left and right, service members getting hooked on painkillers. You know, and I'm not a fan of drugs or anything like that. I don't drink. I like exercising. So I was like, you know, hurt myself. They tried to prescribe it to me, and like I was just like, dang man, like I was scared. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna take it, and next thing you know, I'm gonna be hooked. You know, I got kids, I gotta, you know, I gotta support, I got a wife, I gotta, you know, support. I was like, I can't afford to get hooked. So, you know, contacted my wife while she was here. I said, hey, listen, you know, I hurt myself. You know, she was like, well, you know, what do you want to do? I said, gotta figure out the way to fix me. You know, so we started looking up different ways to reduce pain. We came across CBD. CBD at that time was pretty new. Wasn't like a lot of information out on it, but it was enough information to say like, you know what, I think it probably works. So I was like, you know what, let's give it a try. So that's what we did. I gave it a shot, and it worked. Talking about pain went from, you know, 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. The pain went down from like a 10 down to a 3. Which point was like it was manageable. I was like, oh wow, this stuff pretty work. It works pretty good. You know, I had little issues. Sleeping is common. Um, you know, what people will deploy in combat zones and see the stuff that we see. You know, it's not like you get to switch it off. You know, to this day, um, I wouldn't say I have like, you know, crazy episodes, but you know, I have a flashback here too. Like everybody has a different trigger when it comes to PTSD. So like my trigger is diesel fuel. I already know this. So like I smell diesel fuel, and then literally everything just rewinds in my head, and you know, it's really nothing I can do about it. But like I said, when I know diesel fuel around, I try to prep myself ahead of time. Like, all right, cool, diesel fuel is going to be around. I'm gonna, you know, start jogging back memories and stuff like that. So after experiencing and using CBD, I said, you know what, like, you know, I'm gonna tell a couple other friends, like, hey, you know, it works for me. Maybe you should try it. That's how it started off. You know, other friends start using it. It was like, hey man, this stuff really works, you know, and it's no side effects or anything like that. So then I want to say 2019 is when, you know, my wife had this great idea. It was like, hey, maybe you should start your own brand, put your own name on that thing. I was like, you know, well, I don't know. I like the sound of that. You know, I'll do that. Let's do it. So we did it. You know, started Pure Natural Vibes 2019, just prior to them voting the following year on to legalizing cannabis. You know, so 2020 they legalized. Well, the vote they voted on it to legalize cannabis and everything like that. The governor passed it for recreational use and everything like that. So we've been exploring this journey to open up a dispensary here in my county. All goes well. We're looking to open next year. We already been conditionally approved by the state, so that's a big plus right there. It's not a very easy task to complete with the amount of paperwork that's involved in finding out location, zone, and everything like that for whatever city that you apply for. So that right there, I count to 99.9% of just all my wife's doing, all her research that she's done. Like I said, I'm in the military, so I'm gone back and forth. So there's times where something is updated in a bill or whatever like that. I don't necessarily have the option of just say, you know, well, let me whip up my phone and take a look at it. So she did the bulk of the work. Shout out to the wife, Darnnelle Gibbs. She's probably watching now. So, but yeah, shout out to the wife. Like she's the brain behind the operation. I'm just the face, you know. So she's the brain. She does all the work, all the
You
hard
have
work, you
said
know.
so much
Mm.
that there's a couple of things that I got to go back to.
Okay, no problem.
Um only only because I don't want people to skip over the important things that you said.
Okay.
So in certain aspects there are several similarities that we have And that's the love of doing things from your heart. The reason a lot of people don't volunteer or things of that nature because it's not in their heart. It's a heart issue.
This is true.
What I do, even on this show, I am a natural born leader as well, and I'm a natural born connector. So I'm gonna meet you, and I'm gonna share you with somebody who needs you.
Okay.
I don't get paid for what I do. If I could do this every day, this is what I'll do. And it started off from um, we know plenty of youth who needs programs like this, and it's not even the at-risk kids. It's youth that have inspirations in life who want to be successful, and unfortunately, the world or what we see on TV and movies sometimes dictate how we think, right? So if we don't have a person like me and we don't have a person like you, where do they get this resource from? Where do they get the person that's going to push them like your leaders was pushing you? You first have to show yourself friendly, and then they always have to see there's always one or two that's different from everybody else. Those people you dig out and you pour into, and you see them grow right before your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So just before we got on, I'm like, I am looking for these youth. So whatever resources that I have, not necessarily money, it might be people that I know that can help your child get to where they need to go to. They might be in the wrong school. They might be whatever the case may be. I'm here for it all. So I'm listening to you say these things that somebody saw something in you that was already in you. You just didn't know it. They took the time to pour into you. And what do? When you get full and overflow, guess where it's going to go? Where your heart is.
Mm-hmm. I
So,
agree.
am I surprised that you're like this? Absolutely not. Most of the time, even in the area that we have pain in, when you said that you dropped out of high school and you moved, sometimes in the back of our head, it's almost like a what if. But what if I did this? But now I have the opportunity and the well being behind me to say, look, I messed up right here, which caused me to go this way. But what I want you to do is start successful right here where you are. We don't always have to have tragedy to be successful.
That's true.
We don't always have to have that. We can always have it right where we are. So I'm excited to hear your testimony. I'm excited to hear that what you're doing is basically the same thing I do. I'm just not in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And so, from those leaders who poured into you that saw something different in you, that thing bubbles up inside of you. That not only do I have a family at home that gets first partation of what I'm selling, what I'm doing, they get it first. Your first ministry is at home, it's not the streets. So, your sons get all of you. That same attitude that you have for the kids in the street, you have for your own kids. If I could do it at home, I could do it anywhere. Just like when we marry our partner, our rib, the right one that fits, that help you laugh, to help you, all of these things. You know what
Yeah.
happens when your protection is not there. You're vulnerable to get hurt.
Yeah.
When I looked at the importance of your ribs, you can't even laugh if your ribs are broke.
Nah, you can't.
And I didn't know that.
You got a hard time breathing too.
Absolutely. You won't be able to do anything, though your protection is broken. This is why it's so important to marry the right person. Your wife is the right person, the right rib. She's not forcing into your rib. That was the one God made for you to be able to see and protect, even in the place where you don't even know where you're going. So, am I surprised? Absolutely not. You're getting to see the manifestation of what was already inside of you. Am I looking for bigger and better things? Absolutely. This is nationwide.
Yeah.
And I want people to understand this is not a local thing. This is not a New Jersey thing. This should be for the world. We were born for such a time as this. We had to go and get the youth. If we don't, the world will. And then
Mm-hmm.
you can't blame nobody but yourself.
This is true.
One thing I do know is the village that you have will always be there, even into your adult age. That's what your neighborhood, your school. Maybe if you go to church and the teams that you are a part of, you still have them today. Someone cared enough about you to make sure that you stay here.
Yeah.
We all have moments where life kicked our butts. And depending on where you were in that time, is would you allow my mistakes or the things that life was teaching me to take over and overwhelm us?
Mm-hmm.
But no, what did he do? He said, I had to move from where I was to now be under some other authority to tell me, look, there's other options. It's not the end. You got the information and you came back. What else did you do? Connecting with this person, it was all for necessary. It was for a reason to get you to the military.
Yeah.
Then you decided, hey, the thing for the military is an individual thing as well as team effort. But I have to succeed because I have a child. This ain't about me. It still ain't about you.
No, it's not.
So, like I said, you said so much that I want people to actually go back and understand what he's saying. No, I don't want them to rush over and just be like, well, I did this, did that, and thank you to this person, and da, 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 da. No, it's more to it than that. It's way more to that. This still ain't about you. Because guess what? Your kids are looking at you. That not only is my father about that life, he is really about that life. And one thing I knew, having a conversation, is sometimes our youth get mad at us as an adult because we say a lot of stuff, but we never finish the what we talking about.
Yeah.
We tell them half truths, which is technically still a lie. We don't tell them about the stuff that we had to dig and find ourselves through. We
Yeah.
don't tell them that we messed up. We had all these other things. We don't tell them that. We just tell them this, and you do what I tell you to do.
That's true.
So now it's like our youth look at us like, can I really trust you? I've seen so many things. Can I really trust you? Even with the things that I'm not proud about. Can I really trust you? So now you have someone who's not only you telling you the truth, you exemplify that and making sure the totality of them is successful. That's exercise.
Mm.
Because I don't know, in your school, at one point, they took gym out.
Oh, well, they didn't take the gym out while I was in school. That was like one of the classes I always went to. I ain't gonna lie. High school,
Exactly.
I went to gym. Once
For
again.
some, punishment was outside playing sports or whatever. Some of us, not me, I love sports. I stayed outside. Punishment for me was making me stay in the house.
That's us. That
But
was me
my
too.
sister, who wasn't into all of that, her punishment was to go outside. So you got to have that balance, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So in those moments is when I learned about team. Everybody on the team is at a different level.
It's true.
And you as a leader have to make sure that everybody on the team is balanced out. You never knew that a person on your team or in the military was going through stuff at home. Especially when you're in the military, your mind got to be right, or
Yeah.
somebody might die on your watch.
Yeah.
Same thing with a team. Same thing that the kids have to go through in their neighborhood. Who's actually having conversations with our youth? Who really care? It ain't about a dollar. I really care about you. Who's really doing that? So I want you to understand, senior, you are needed. You are important to this world. So when your cousin, Alethea,
Hmm.
said, I have somebody perfect that you need to talk to,
That's one of my biggest supporters.
she said, as soon as
Nickname
we got
Booby.
off, she inboxed me like, I got somebody for you. I said, okay, who is it? She said, my cousin. I'm seeing this information
Yeah.
instantly. And this is how we connected. So my point is, as people unfold and understand their truth, it's important for them to give back all the things, all of it, not just the good part
That's true.
and not just the bad part, but that's what makes you. So, me personally, I'm the person who loves the X-Men. Love them. Because even in the moments when they were youth, they were still finding themselves.
Yep.
Did they always get it right?
No,
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If that was the case, they wouldn't need a Xavier.
that is true.
But in every youth, there's a storm. In every youth, there's a Cyclops. There's a backstory. There's a Wolverine. There's all of these people inside of them. Who's going to be our Xavier? So I salute you today. If don't nobody else tell you in life again that you are needed, your Xavier leadership, that you are able to give back to the younger generation is needed. Because just like in the school, there were youth in classes where Storm and all of them were the teachers. Where did they learn that from? Xavier.
Hmm.
So we have to do this. We have to around the world in order for us to save our next generation.
I agree.
Not just the next one, this one. So, in every experience that we have in life is always going to be turned out for our good. You getting injured, turning out for your good.
Yes, I agree.
Did we want to get hurt?
No,
No.
not
Did
if
we
you can
want to
avoid
lose
it.
our money and all the other stuff we was doing? No. The CEO of Pure Natural Vibes LLC
Yep.
came out of somebody being injured
Yep. This is true.
who did not like pills or
Not at
drugs
all.
to get addicted to. So there was another way for us to be in a place where we are now. This person, a husband and wife, coming together to help the world and seeing that you don't have to be on Percocet and all this other stuff. There's another way. So again, you said a lot, but I had to go back so you can understand your importance in this world.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
So now you can go forward.
Okay. So we'll go to the pandemic.
Yes.
So the pandemic happened. I was actually deployed when the pandemic actually broke out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Came back. They still was having problems with the pandemic, and then there was a frenzy over hand sanitizer and Lysol and bleach and everything like that. It was like a frenzy, like people was charging an arm and a leg for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting phone calls, couple text messages for friends that work at like daycares and like the YMCA and stuff like that. Like, hey man, like you know anybody that's selling like hand sanitizer? I'm like, selling hand sanitizer? Like, no, not exactly. Why? What's up? Oh, because you know we ain't got none. We don't have no cleaning supplies. We try to order them. You can't order it. Stuff like that. So I was like, ah, that sort of sucks. So I said, you know what? Let me look into it and see if I could come across a company where I could order in bulk. So fortunately, I was able to actually do so. And then everybody kept asking. So I started off with just giving it out to like customers whenever they placed the order. I made sure the warehouse sent out a bottle of hand sanitizer for free. I said, you know what, add this in every order. You know, I always kept a couple of bottles with me in the house, in the car, stuff like that. Gave it out to family members, and then people kept asking over and over, like, "Oh man, how much you selling them for?" I'm like, "Selling them." I'm like, "No, it's free whenever you make a purchase through my company." And then people kept saying like, "Oh well, I know this person that doesn't have any. I know this person that doesn't have any. I know this person that doesn't have any." And then it was such a big push with first responders, and they classified people that still had to work during the pandemic as essential employees. And
Mm-hmm.
given myself, I was an essential employee. I'm like, it sort of sucks that you see these stories where essential employees don't even have the necessary stuff they need, to keep themselves safe. So this way, they don't get sick, bring it back home to the family member gets sick,
Right.
and so on. So I was like, I'm gonna start donating it. You know, I came across this one gentleman. I'm not gonna mention his name because he was like, you shouldn't do that. That's bad for business. I'm like, well, what do you mean it's bad for business? He was like, the money that you can make on all this, you're just gonna give it away for free. I said, yeah. So people are in need. I said, like, if I needed something and I didn't have the ability to get it, even though I made every valid effort to get it, I would appreciate if someone gave it to me for free. Not try to take every dollar that I had and left. So that's what I did. I started off giving it out for free. I went from giving out hand sanitizers and face masks. I started off with Lacardi Ford. I worked there. They helped me out a lot throughout the years with vehicle purchase and stuff like that. So I was, what they working. I was the first group of people that actually reached out to me. The gentleman that's there that helped me out a lot is Mike DeGrazio at Lacardi Ford in Watchung. He's the manager there. He reached out to me, so I said, you know what, I got you, Mike. I'm come over there, drop some hand sanitizer off to you. I got you. So that's what I did. So I dropped it off to him first. And after that, I believe the next location I dropped it off was Orange Municipal, the court staff for Orange Township here in Essex County. I gave them a donation of hand sanitizer. After that, that was the YMCA in East Orange gave them hand sanitizer. Then there was a senior citizen home, also in the city of East Orange, gave them hand sanitizer. Roseland Police and Fire Rescue gave them hand sanitizer. South Orange Fire and Rescue gave them hand sanitizer. A couple of daycares throughout Essex County, I gave them both hand sanitizers, bleach, and Lysol wipes. So I tried to help as much as I could, and I was like, well, I think that's like the only way I could truly help, because it was scarce to like hand sanitizer. Like I said, you're talking about a 2 ounce bottle of hand sanitizer used to be $1, and then COVID happened, and all of a sudden the same two ounce hand sanitizer is $5. And I was like, that's a lot just to try to keep yourself safe. So I was like, I'll give it out for free. I gave out the mask for free. Gave out the latex gloves for free, and Lysol. I actually had a Master Sergeant Bollinger. If you're watching this, I apologize. He actually donated two gallons of hand sanitizer, but I wasn't able to pick it up because I had a military application. But he reached out and also donated hand sanitizer. And then I want to say I got to about maybe without even realizing it. To be honest with you, without even realizing, I was like, after setting up to do my quarterly taxes, not even realizing, I was like, oh wow, I'm at $42,000. I just bought $42,000 worth of PPE. I was like, I think that's all my profit, And my wife was like, yeah, we gotta look at this. You just giving it out like it's candy, slow down a little bit. So slow down a little bit. I still gave it out. I just didn't give it out as often as I was doing. I was doing like almost like every other day. I was giving it out, so I went from doing like every other day to like twice a week. And then at that time, COVID started to slow down and people start coming out and everything like that. Made cleaning supplies more accessible to the people. So I still to this day I still give out a bottle of hand sanitizer with every order, every purchase through my website. I still give out a free bottle of hand sanitizer. Um, then after that, after the pandemic, I'm trying to think. After the pandemic, I deployed again. Like I said, deployed again. Came back from that deployment, no injuries from that particular deployment, no injuries. Came back, and then we start working on the whole business aspect of Pure Natural Vibes to get the approval from the state when it came to the purpose of cannabis. And like I said, we was able to get approved through the state um, for cannabis, and that's very appreciative. So a lot of people, ask, you always, it is what it is. So you always get people, you'll tell them like, hey man, I got this dream, and then there's always a group of people that say, hey, your dream's too big, and that happened with us. Me and the wife would, telling friends like, hey, you know what, we're thinking about applying, and we got like a lot of like not a lot of support, to be honest with you. A lot of people's like, oh man, that's going to cost a lot of money. You guys ain't got that type of money. You ain't got that type of money. And I told everybody over and over, like, well, you don't need the money right from the beginning, to submit an application. You don't need that much money to submit an application. And like I said, we had a lot of people just saying, hey, it's not worth trying. You should try something else. Just stick to the CBD. Don't go after the cannabis and marijuana. And I kept telling everybody over and over, like, well, I'm a believer in it for the sole purpose of healing. Like, I get some people like to divulge and indulge in cannabis. Is everybody's prerogative. If you want to use it for the sole purpose of feeling relaxed and everything like that, go for it. But if you're a person, you know, that sustained an injury, don't necessarily want to take medication and prescriptions and stuff like that, hey, that's an alternative for you. You're talking about an all natural alternative that, as of today, has no known side effects whatsoever. Not recently, but maybe like a year ago, I did a post on my business social media platform, Pure Natural Vibes on Instagram, and I compared the recalls for prescription drugs versus cannabis. So, if I'm not mistaken, for a period of almost like 1 quarter, you're talking about 3 months, there was almost 200 recalls on prescribed medication. Okay. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, that's a no brainer right there. Like, you took a prescription to help you with a problem just to gain another problem. Now you got to take another prescription to solve that problem. Then you got to take another prescription to solve that problem. Whereas, like I said, you're talking about the cannabis in general, is no reported side effects whatsoever. So, I just, me and the wife kept going. Now we're not stopping. We're gonna apply. We're gonna see this thing all the
So
way
with
through.
the CBD, is it the oil or is it the ones you um ingest or is it both?
So I have, both. So I have tinctures is what they're actually called, but some people call them drops or oils. I have that. You just simply place that underneath the tongue, let it sit for about 10 seconds, 30 seconds is best. Or you could add it to your favorite juice. So like I got orange flavor CBD tincture, so I would just add it to orange juice. Like, okay, do shake it up and drink it. Mint flavor, I'll add to tea. I'm a big tea fan, right? So check this out, right? So I actually became a big fan of tea because of Afghanistan. So Afghanistan, there's tea served with every meal every day. Okay, you're talking about 120 degrees out, noon, and we're drinking tea. And I was like, you know what? I sort of like tea now. I'm a tea man. You got some people that they big with coffee. I'm a tea man. I'll take the tea. So I made sure I got mint flavor tinctures. So this way, if you're a big fan of tea or whatever like that, you could go ahead and drop that in your tea. Also have cream. I use the cream a lot actually. Just when I work out, exercise, or whatever like that. So you got a lot of people out there that's probably exercising and anything like that. You exercise to the point where like, ah man, my muscles hurt, my joints hurt, and stuff like that. So I actually use my cream and I apply it to my muscle or whatever muscle group that I'm gonna be working for that day, and that you know pain that you, well, not necessarily pain, but the little discomfort you feel from after working out is literally like virtually non-existent. So I use it for that. Also, I have the gummies as well. That's a big popular thing for everybody from both CBD and cannabis. Then we switched and started gearing towards THC. I want to say maybe the beginning of, well, no, maybe I want to say maybe the end of last year, roughly middle of 2021, where the cannabis the farm bill was passed, and pretty much it allowed for the agriculture grow and manufacturing of Delta H THC. So when that came out, we read that bill. We was like, oh wow, that's pretty neat. We read that bill like so many times. I was like, let me read this a couple times, make sure I'm not going crazy and reading this wrong before I get myself in trouble or whatever like that. So that's what I did. We read it over and over, read it over and over, to the point where we was actually able to see like, well, actually, you know what, the Delta THC, it's almost just as good as your regular conventional Delta 9 THC. And we was like, let's try it. Let's give it a test. So I was able to contact a manufacturer based out of California who was able to say, you know what, like we normally do bulk orders, but you're a small company or whatever like that, and we'll start you off something small. So I was like, all right, great, I appreciate that. Got to start somewhere or whatever. And did a couple of test trials with different milligrams, different fruit sizes and stuff like that. And so we end up actually adding maybe, if I'm not mistaken, 8 different Delta 8 THC products. So we have anything from 15 milligrams, 20 milligrams, 40 milligrams, 75, 100 milligram gummies. Those are the Delta THC is all gummy line for right now. We're in a process to add in the tinctures, i.e. the drops, to the website probably in another 2 months. I'm just trying to tweak the flavor profile of it. But yeah, so that's how that went with Pure Natural Vibes. So I'm excelling from CBD all the way up to THC. Where, like I said, we're in the last step of the process for being fully licensed here in New Jersey for cannabis. So that's a plus. Like I said, that a lot of that work goes out to my wife. Like she did all she did all the hard work. It is what it is. Like she worked on this process, the business plan, the compliance plan, even while I was gone. So there was times where I'll be on a mission for 3-4 days at a time. No access to communication whatsoever, and she knocked it out. She did her thing. She got everything done, with little to no guidance from myself. So like I owe her the the biggest respect for doing what she did. Like I said, without her, Pure Natural Vibe, excuse me, without her, Pure Natural Vibes probably wouldn't even exist to this day. Without her hard work and due diligence, then I got the kids that help me and everything like that. So like my stepdaughter Abby, she's like our office manager. Yeah, that's what we would call her. She like the office manager. Make sure we got everything we need from breakfast, lunch, dinner, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like she's the go-to for food. I'm greedy. Personally myself, you guys, anybody that knows me, I don't have a problem. You tell me like, hey, Gibbs, we got to go eat. You coming? I'm coming. So like I gotta eat. I get like everybody else. I get grumpy when I don't eat. So that's how that worked out. And then yeah, so we here now, present day. And like I said, I'm enjoying everything about life. I got my 3 sons, got my stepdaughters. My oldest son's 21, Dante Gibbs. My middle son, Kamari Gibbs, 17, and then my youngest one, Darnnelle Jr., 13. So my stepdaughter, she's 18. So I'm enjoying life. Everything is good. Everybody's healthy. Shout out to my mom, shout out to my dad, shout out to my stepdad. Yeah. So I feel like they definitely played a big part of my life as well. Be it to be able to have two father figures, supposed to no father figure. That was definitely a big plus to me. You're talking about my stepdad. He like took us in, me and my brother, you know like we was his own kids. And I can really appreciate that, especially hearing stories. Elementary school, high school. People like, oh man, you get along with your stepdad. I'm like, yeah. Oh, my stepdad suck, and I'm like, well, my stepdad rock, man. He come to my games and everything. He out there, cheering me on in baseball games and anything out there. Football games, it's cold out there. He miserable. He still cheering me on.
Right.
Man, stuff like that I appreciate. You gotta appreciate stuff like that, especially from a person that's not your biological father. Of course, my mom's. Of course, everybody has to appreciate their mother, their father. My father more so was like the business dude. He was a little bit straightforward, like when we were younger, like this sounds crazy, but when we were younger, we really didn't watch TV. So like to be able to to be able to watch the news, like to us was like a goodie. Like we was like, oh wow, we're about to watch the news. We're excited about this. So my dad was sort of he had different ways, growing up, but like I said, I appreciate everybody that's helped me along thus far. I forgot to shout out two military personnel too. I apologize about that. If they watching. We got Sergeant Schuster Ferguson. He helped me out physically. So once I hurt myself, um, I was like in a little bit of a rut. Like it's common. You hurt yourself, you deploy, you want to be out there with the team and everything like that. Hurt myself, and like I was like, life sucks. I'm stuck on a base, not doing nothing. I want to be out there, tracking down, bad guys and everything like that, seeing, helping people and stuff like that. So he actually helped me with my physical therapy aspect, helping me rehab my knee, helping me rehab my lower back, to the point where I want to say I was able to start getting back in the game, start getting back on missions and stuff like that. And then shout out my boy Eddie Sperling. Eddie Sperling was big out there, you know what I mean? So, Eddie, we call Eddie like our little brother, Eddie's like our little brother. So he was out there helping me like, hey man, everything's gonna be all right. I'm like, nah, man, you just saying that. If it was you, you wouldn't be saying that. But, Eddie was out there helping me out, cheering me on and everything like that. Still this day, like I said, we still talk. I actually had Sergeant Ferguson, he actually joined re-enlisted with me in the Air Force, believe it or not. So I got there first. And I was like, hey man, it's smooth over here. It's like I think this is a different place. Everybody always asks. So I'll tell everybody that's watching, right? Everybody would say like, oh, it's nice in the Air Force. Everybody say it is. It is nice. When I tell you it's nice, it's nice. Like you coming from the Army, and then you come to the Air Force, and the quality of life is just 10 times better. It is what it is. All my Army friends that you guys watching, y'all know what I'm talking about. Ain't none of that staying out in the field for no 2 weeks without no running hot water. Ain't none of that. You may do it for like 2, 3 days in the Air Force, but that's about it. Food is better and everything like that. But yeah, I had Sergeant Ferguson join with me in the Air Force. He was there. He got hurt. Unfortunately, we had to get out or whatever like that. So he's rehabbing the injury. But yeah, so yeah, a lot of good people I come across in my
Um,
lifespan so far.
I think I live, I guess, military life through other people
Hmm.
who served in the military till they were retired. My time in Alabama, I was there for 10 years. I
Okay.
was on the arsenal a lot.
Okay.
So I was there actually the year they disbanded it and started sending everybody everywhere.
Okay.
I went to a church that was full of military people, so that you know you getting there on time, you late.
Yeah. Gotta be
You
early.
gotta be early.
Gotta be early.
So some of those things like stuck with me. Um, and I was friends with everybody from Marines to Navy, Air Force, Army, all of them.
Hmm.
And it was the running joke of most of our arsenal was Army, most of it. So of course they get into this unsaid said competition between the Army, the ones that was in the Navy, and it used to be so funny to me. So in high school, I got recruited, but I didn't go.
Okay.
I had the mindset like I don't like my mama telling me what to do, so I'm
You don't let nobody else tell me what to do.
definitely about so no. So I had two of my favorite cousins on both sides of my family. One went to Air Force, one went to
Mm.
the Navy. And they was after boot camp, they was like, "You can do it. Come on, let's go, let's go." Especially you being a female, you can go to the Air Force and just like smooth sailing.
You chilling.
No, I just don't, and so both of them, my cousin that's in the Air Force, he has retired. My cousin that's in the Navy, he will be officially retired in December, I believe.
Nice.
And I've lived through them and their stories and the things that they have seen in this world, some good, some bad. And they still have their moments. You touched on it a little bit about the things that you can't erase from your memory. Um, and so they deal with it the way that they can. A lot of times is with their children, their wives, to when they're having those moments to like, I'm here, I'm here. Um, and there was one particular person who she deployed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She did a couple of Kuwait, Afghanistan, like when it was hostile. And she used to watch this. It was something on YouTube, like they was just doing a whole bunch of murdering, like shoot them up, like they were. Um, I guess they was kidnapped or whatever, and the people were shooting them in the head. And she said this was her way of detaching herself from her family.
Mm-hmm.
So in her mindset, she was always on killer mode, and she was in the Army. And so when she would come back, it would take her a moment to de-escalate herself. So now you're in the U.S. Now you're at home. You're not over there. And so when she finally retired, her what they call it, the pay, whatever it is, when it
Disability.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a cost. It's a cost to protect your loved ones. It's a cost. And so, of course, I can't let you leave without saying thank you for serving. Um, because everybody, including myself, no, mm-mm. Just on the fact of having to leave my family was enough for me.
Mm.
I was like, no, I can't. Um, I like my freedom. But if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have freedom. How about that?
I tell that to a lot of people.
It's
It was
true.
like it was like I do scholarships, right, through my company Pure Natural Vibes. I do scholarships, right. So I normally keep my scholarships on the hush, right.
But too late.
Yeah, which is true now, but it's got out there prior to this though, so it's good. We're good. So people know about it now because I posted on Instagram. So I do scholarships through my company, okay, and I gave a scholarship, $10,000 scholarship to two service members. Okay, I posted it on my business Instagram, Pure Natural Vibes on Instagram, and I started getting people inbox me saying like they don't need the money. Why you didn't give it to somebody else? They don't need the money. You could have gave it to somebody else. They already get paid free education, everything like that, so on and so on. So I didn't have to respond to the inbox messages that they were sending or whatever like that. So I said, you know what, if you feel that way, I don't have a problem talking to you about it. Feel free to give me a phone call. So of course, I give him my business number, my direct extension on my business line and everything like that. And talking to everybody, and everybody seems to have the same exact thing. Everybody kept saying over and over, well, why'd you give the scholarship to them when they get free education? So I said, you know what? I'm glad you asked the question. I said, what aspect of the education system do you know about when it comes to service member? Oh, I know they get free education. Okay, other than the fact that they get free education, what else do you know? Well, that's all I really need to know. You wasted $10,000 on two service members. Like, okay, great. Well, I'm explaining to you because I'm a service member. I use education. Okay, so yeah, the tuition is paid. Okay, that's a lot. That's a significant amount of money. I will agree. Yes, it is. But at the same time, you're talking about people still have a life. Okay, they still have a family that they had to provide for. Okay, so think about it. Go to school full time and to work full time. The people that could do it, listen, my hat goes off to you. But not everybody has that ability to do such. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't have that ability. Okay, I take one class a semester. Everybody like, yo, you'll never finish college. Okay, I'll get there eventually. I probably won't finish it as fast as you, but I'll get there. Okay, everybody got a different workload as well. You still got to provide for your family. Okay, and then there's some stuff that the education benefit doesn't pay for. I'll give you an example. Okay, you got people out here don't necessarily want to go to college; they want to be pilots. Okay, so you could use your education benefit for your pilot exam, okay? But it doesn't pay for your hours, okay? Some aircrafts, you got to have 200 hours, okay, of flight time. 1 hour is $175. All right, so we'll do the math real quick, right? So you're talking about $175 and 200 hours, okay? We're talking about this service member has to come up with an additional $35,000. If everybody had $35,000 sitting around, we wouldn't have had this conversation. So that's why I try to tell people, like, yeah, I have to be fair. I kind of look at it from both sides. I could look at it as far as a civilian, and I could look at it as far as a military personnel, right? So a lot of a lot of people think that the military got a lot easier than than we do. It's not. Okay, you'll have people say, oh, but um, they pay for your education. They give you free medical. They give you free dental. It's not when you think about it, it's not really free. And the reason why I say it's not really free because in fact we're limited to where we could go to seek medical help. All right. So if this particular doctor doesn't take TRICARE, guess what? You got to find another doctor. Okay. I had a friend who injured himself. Right. The only doctor that took his insurance was almost 40 minutes away from his house. So I say, you know what? Hey, I'll pick you up, big guy. No big deal. I got some free time. I'll pick you up, take you to a doctor's visit. Suppose spending no money on Uber or whatever like that. I'll take you. But uh, a lot of people don't think about that. Yeah, it's free, but you're limited to where you go. Same thing with the dentist. Okay. So luckily for me, the dentist that I go to is like 20 minutes from my house. But I have friends where they have to travel almost 40 minutes because TRICARE don't cover that particular dentist. Okay. Then you're talking about that also applies for your family member. For us, like, yeah, we're used to traveling, you know, great lengths for services. It is what it is. But you got service members that they are still civilians at the end of the day. They're just like you and me at the end of the day. Once they take that uniform off, they're a regular person. They're not GI Joe all day every day. They're not
Yeah.
Rambo all day every day. They got regular families that they have to take care of as well. So if they're going to school full time, right, and now they're working a full time job, guess what? Someone's going to take a hit. The family lifestyle is going to take a hit. So if you have the ability to help someone, go ahead and help them. You know, and so like I try to tell people like there's pros and cons to everything in life. All right, when you look at I don't know if I can say this still being actively serving, but when this is my opinion, so I throw that out there like that. My opinion, the fact that an athlete, okay, could get paid hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars for entertainment, and a service member barely makes above minimum wage is mind blowing to me. That's why I tell friends and I tell family members over and over that you guys rather pay for entertainment than security. Just that simple. In my opinion, you can ask anybody. In my opinion, I say it all the time. The top paid people in America, okay, in my opinion, should be service members, first responders, and teachers. Just that simple.
I just had this conversation.
Just that simple. You're talking about people, i.e., military personnel, just like myself, who leave their families 6 months at a time, a year at a time, 18 months at a time. So everybody could stay back here in America to live their version of the American dream. And you're trying to tell me that the fact that I'm risking my life so you could stay safe, so you could feel comfortable, so you could watch your HBO Max, so you could watch your Amazon Prime, so you could go ahead and order Amazon every day if you choose to, so you could go out here and get your cup of Starbucks latte, Dunkin' Donuts, mocha coca, whatever you want to get for a mere, you know, $36,000 a year, and you're complaining that a service member got an extra $10,000. That's crazy, you know. And like I said, it just it's sad sometimes when I got to try to explain it to people that that you
But
know.
I will tell you this:
Mhm,
it's not easy being a trailblazer.
this is true.
It's not. You would think that everybody would be hoorah, pushing you, supporting you in the things and the endeavors that you're trying to do. And we had to, as trailblazers, not worry about right now, because the bigger picture is I still win. You might come along later on and support and get it then after the finished thing is done. You might. But at the end of the thing, if God gave you a vision, God is going to send some people on purpose to help you and support you. I'm over the lip service.
Yeah,
People do a lot of talking,
it's true.
but I'm not doing it for them. What you do is not for them. You have a specific audience that is for you. So when them dollars start rolling in, you'll understand it's for them. We gotta go through the fire. A whole bunch of people don't understand, and it's okay. It's okay, because when I get to where I need to, you'll see what I saw already. That helps me sleep at night, and it's gonna help you sleep. The right people is gonna come along at the right time, and I'm interested because I got this pain that won't leave. I don't know if it's arthritis. I don't know, but I don't want to be on medicine that's going to affect something else. I don't
Yeah,
know.
this is true.
Um one of my aunts was over the other day talking to my mom about CBD, and telling her that, this other person rubs it on and they don't feel no pain. And I'm like, I don't want my mama to be in pain all day. And just that's not life.
No.
And I refuse to have life like that. Before I get, let you go,
Hmm.
um I was I think I shared this, a post of you and the kids at camp.
Oh yeah,
And I was like, oh, I want to go.
yeah,
So can you tell the people about the camp you just came back from?
yeah. So we take our youth. It varies. All right. So the youth in theory. Okay. So it's sort of like split. Okay. So you have we'll use the military for instance. Like so you have your doers and you have your NCOs, your sergeants and officers. Okay. So we have the same setup at Exis County Cops for Kids. Okay. So this past weekend, about 2 weeks ago, we took the youth leadership to a leadership course. Okay. At this leadership course, it was supposed to help them do what they already naturally do, work as a team. Okay, team cohesion. Okay, throughout this 3 day weekend, we was able to talk and bond amongst each other. Okay, once again, like I said, the person who gets the utmost credit for this particular trip is Officer Aviles. It is what it is. Officer Armando Aviles, retired Officer Armando Aviles. So he was able to set it up where we were actually able to take the youth to this camp to actually do something different that some of them might not have had a chance to do. You have some kids who's never been camping before. You have
Mm-hmm.
some kids who's never done archery before. You have some kids who've never sat at a campfire before. Okay, so to be able to expose a group of kids to something different, to let them see that there's more than just crime and everything like that, that's a plus. Okay, throughout that weekend, we did team building exercises. Okay, so the team building exercises gave them the chance to actually listen to what we've been telling them. So we always tell people, well, the youth that is, listen, sometimes you got to listen before you react, okay? Because sometimes the answer is there and you're not paying attention. So that was the purpose of the weekend. So there was exercises where they would be given a block of instruction and say, hey, this is your block of instruction, execute it. And before they even try to make a plan, some of them, they just, oh, okay, let's go run and do it. They would fail it, but at the same time, we were like, okay, let's try it again. Listen to what I said, okay. And then, of course, ultimately, they would get it completed. The last day of the event itself was Sunday, which a lot of kids had fun with. They had to climb a wall, like it was like rock climbing. We got videos and everything like that, pictures. You had a lot of kids saying like, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. Like you ain't even try. You gotta try, big guy. Even if you get halfway up the wall, guess what? You got farther than you thought you did.
Hmm.
You didn't even think you was gonna get on the wall. You got on the wall and got
Yes.
halfway, or some people got all the way to the top. But like I said, the Cops for Kids, in my opinion, is by far the best youth program that I've ever seen. I've come across quite a few. Um, while my adult age. I volunteered at a couple of them prior to being employed as a law enforcement officer. And like I said, I never really felt like they connected. I felt like there was always like um, I feel like they just did it just like, oh, we doing it. It's something for the community, it's something for the kids. We doing it. Some of it was inconsistent, but like I said, with Cops for Kids is consistent. We go be at Barringer High School in Newark every Friday, 6 p.m. You could know for a fact we gonna be there. If someone tell you, hey, listen, right now, I'll bet you $1 million where Cops for Kids are gonna be at on Friday, 6 p.m. Your answer should be Barringer High School in Newark. Tell you that right now. Okay. And then we have our junior cadets where we meet our junior cadets on Sundays. I apologize, Saturdays. All right. Also at Barringer High School. We're there with the junior cadets from 6 to 9. Okay. Um, so the program overall is literally to help the youth to like build their own individual character, supposed to trying to follow the image of someone else. Okay. Like I like to tell people over and over. I remember when I was younger, my dad always, asked me and my brother, like, oh, well, who you want to be like when you grow up, right? So, with my dad being as strong as he was or whatever like that, I used to name powerful black people. Oh, I want to be like Martin Luther King. And he'll smirk. I'm like, all right, no problem. Okay. He asked me again, hey, who you want to be like when you grow up? And myself, all right, well, I said Martin Luther King. I'm trying I want to be like Malcolm X. All right, he'll smirking. All right, no problem. Like I'm striking out here. Some time go past. Hey, who you want to be like? I want to be like Michael Jordan now. I don't know who else to pick. I want to be like Michael Jordan. All right. So it wasn't until like later, once I got bigger, a lot older, whatever like that, where I asked my dad, like, hey, listen, like you used to ask me like who I want to be when I grow up, and like you never was happy with the answer. And he was like, yeah, I never was happy with the answer. I said, well, if I'm naming all these great people, when you want me to be great? He said, yeah, I want you to be great, but I want you to be the best version of you. You should want to be you when you grow up, not nobody else. And I always use that mentality. I spread that to the kids. You got any kids of the program, I tell them all the same thing. They're like, "Hey, Officer Gibbs, I want to join the army because you join. Hey, don't join because I join. All right. First, let's find out what you like to do in life. The army may not be for you. You may like to be in a climate controlled building every day you go to work. If that's what you want to do, the army is not for you. You want to go ahead and
Hmm.
look at the Air Force and the Navy. A lot of people think like, oh well, you know, um, my kid don't have an interest to be in law enforcement. Nothing wrong with that. But guess what? We don't talk about just law enforcement. We have guest speakers that come from other different career fields to come and talk to the children in reference to what they do for a living. Okay, you don't have to be. Oh, your only aspiration to be a law enforcement is our organization geared towards law enforcement? Absolutely. But yeah, we have opportunities for you to try other things. Computer programming. You have the opportunity to speak with someone that's already in the restaurant industry, like a good friend of mine's. Um, Miss Genevieve. She owns a restaurant here in East Orange, New Jersey. So if you had a passion for culinary arts, boom, there you go. Oh, what's that? You want to do HVAC? No problem. I have a gentleman by Jermaine. If you want to do some HVAC, hey, cool, no problem. He'll be your HVAC guy. He can help you out. You want to do some contracting, some carpentry work? Not a problem. We have Mr. Everett Dobbs. Say no more. So we have opportunities for the youth to be exposed to something different. So this way they can actually pick and choose what they want to do in life, opposed to someone telling them, hey, this is what you should do. You should never tell someone this is what you should do in life. No, you should let somebody pick what they want to do in life. It's
Yes.
the difference between giving options and telling somebody what to do. Always give
How
options,
how
never tell
far
what
are
to
you
do.
from Linden?
From Linden, New Jersey,
Yeah.
I'm about, say, 20 minutes. Good 20 minutes from Linden. I'm not
Really?
that far. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm not that far.
I normally try not to do, name dropping.
Hmm.
Are you familiar with Main Event?
I'm familiar with the main event. Yep.
So that's like my big brother.
Okay.
So, um, and he does a lot with the youth, a lot. Um, especially now coming out, having conversations. And for him, of course, basketball changed his life. It's not all about the basketball, but he has lots of life skills that
Hmm.
he has learned through the experiences of life.
Okay.
Um, so a lot of them that were a part of and one,
Okay. I was big back in the day.
listen, and they are trying to come back. Um,
Everybody wanted to be on hand one.
Yes, absolutely. And shout out to Main Event, shout out to Mark Bullock, shout out to all the N1 guys. Several of them have been on the show already. But again, we never know the resources we have until we have conversations. And with you said that, the first person I thought of was Main Event. Um, so whatever you need, I can, I told you I'm a connector.
Yeah.
You can have him come through and talk to the youth. Um, and like with Mark Bullock, he's Mr. Idea. He has like 30 something businesses, literally.
Nice.
And he's continued to um, undergird the new movement that is coming with AN1. Well, it's not going to be called AN1. It's Blacktop Streetball Association, where now
Okay.
the players are in charge.
Okay.
And so again, you never know um, how other people can connect. Again, it was through your cousin who got this connection, but then again, Main Event was the person who connected me to Alethea. So again, literally, I want people to understand that 6 degrees of separation is a real thing. You are literally one person away, one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. Again, I appreciate the time that you have given for us
Absolutely.
to talk again. When an hour, 2 hours go real fast
This is
when
true.
you're having a good time and you don't pay attention to the time.
Yes.
Again, we have been on for an hour and a half now.
Yes.
And but again, I know you have family at home that you need to tend to. And I do too. I have to put on dinner for hubby.
Okay.
And so again, I appreciate you being the leader that you are. I don't ever want you to lose sight on the things and the importance that you are to the world. And this is why you are here. I want the
Yes.
world to know who you are, what you stand for, and if they going through in their body and whatever, I want them to reach out to Pure Natural Vibes to get whatever they need.
So what I'll do is, right. So I was in the process of doing it now. So what we'll do is, right, for all your viewers that's watching and they would like to purchase something on my website, they could use promo code Sunshine. All right, and this way they'll get a discount at the end once they complete their order. Okay.
Let me do that right now. Let me
Mhm.
see something here. Is that the website Pure Natural Vibes LLC?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Let me do that right now. Promo. Oh, look at that. They been getting some promos off of me. Look at that. Look at them. Okay, let's go put that up there. This was awesome.
Yes.
As always. And also, I know I put up the Cash App earlier. If you guys want to donate to further what I do on podcasting, um, the Cash App is Sunshine or $ Sunshine Camila, Kamillah. That is how you really spell my name. Um, it's a whole thing. I'm not even gonna go there tonight. Again, the donation for Cash App is, of course, $ Sunshine Camila, Kamillah. Please support my brother, Pure Natural Vibes LLC. If you want to, again, he gave y'all the promo code Sunshine for tonight. Again, I want you guys to support him in everything that he does. I believe he is. Let me see. Let me put your social media up here also.
Okay.
Okay, what is it on Facebook?
Facebook, it's official Pure Natural Vibes.
Official Pure Natural. That's really no. NATURA Vibes. That the same thing on everything?
No, so Instagram is just Pure Natural Vibes.
Official Pure Natural Vibes. And then where did it go?
Yep.
Okay. And then Pure Natural Vibes
Yep.
on Instagram.
That is correct.
Well, shout out to your wife. Shout out
Yes.
to your kids.
Yes.
Shout out to everyone that has something to do um, with who you are. Again, thank you, Alethea Gibbs, for suggesting your cousin to me. Again, thank you for Main Event for suggesting Alethea to me. Again, this is what we do. This is my village. And any way that I could support and help, that's what I do. Again, we believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're literally one person away, one help away, and one advice away from where you need to be in your destiny. And again, tonight has been awesome with Darnnelle Gibbs, Senior.
Yes, senior.
Senior. And we will see you on Thursday.
Yes.
So I will talk to you later.
Have a good night.
Bye.